Come on. It says I'm live. Let me refresh YouTube. Okay. All right. Wait, okay, so y'all can hear me and stuff? Control room. How can I look at, okay. Do I look at the chat? Okay. I'll just look at the chat as it scrolls on the live thing. Okay, cool. Hey, everybody. We're doing a live stream. I guess I'll officially kick things off in a second. Let me just, tweet that it's happening. How's everybody's mornings going? Good morning. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's just get this started. So we're doing a live stream. I have no idea like what I'm actually supposed to do here. I figured we could just like hang out, do a Q&A, get to know each other a little better. And I am going to be completely honest. I'm very nervous because this is the first time I've done a sort of streaming thing where people are actually watching it. So I'm just going to read how everybody's mornings are going. It's evening in London, so good evening, I guess. Greetings from India. Whoa, this is so cool. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the comment on the flannel. I got the shirt from a friend because I don't have a sense of style myself. Oh, what brand? This is Zara Min. I got it from my friend Jordan, who I host Sad Boys with. I could dance for you live. Maybe we'll dance. Maybe we'll dance at the end. I don't really have. I've kind of moved around my room a lot to get this little like studio live thing going, but perhaps we can dance a bit later. I'm gonna start answering questions. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Wait. It's midnight. Where's everybody coming from? We got Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We got Trinidad. Everybody's got questions. I'm happy to hear them. Start taking them in just a second. Hey, Mubarak. Hey, also shout out to everybody who showed up in the waiting room live chat before I went live. So Alex, Neil, Watley, I'm really happy to see you guys here. Jonathan, Emmanuel. Nigeria, California, Atlanta, LA, classic. Romanian undercover in London, nice. Hey, Russell. I'm still well equipped to dance the High School Musical. So Russell, who's in the chat, is the person I uploaded my very first YouTube video with. If you go to my channel and go to the very end of the channel, you'll see a video that was uploaded 10 years ago that was me and Russell dancing to High School Musical, which was kind of interesting because was the start of me, like, if you watch like the Baby Steps video, I kind of tell the story of how I was really afraid of topping myself because that video did well on like 2007 YouTube. And yeah, but anyway, we're back, and I'm so happy to so happy to have you all here. I'm gonna start taking questions. So let me scroll back to the first time I saw myself being tagged. So Adrian asked, "What brand is red flannel?" I answered that. It's Zara Min. We talked about dancing. Andrew do you have a mentor or someone you look up to? I have a lot of mentors. I feel like I have such a broad set of interests that I have like a mentor in each layer of or each different aspect of my life. So I have like a lot of like comedy mentors, a lot of people I look up to in that scene. I have a lot of like technical people that I look up to, a lot of them that are people I work with as well, because I think it's cool to have, with mentorship, it's really cool to have what's the term? Well, it's cool to have someone at like a really high level that's a dream to like be in their shoes or something like that. But it's equally important to have, if not more so important, to have people surrounding you who are maybe just the next step away. So like just a little further along in their careers, you know, and just a little further along in whatever they're doing. So yeah. Do, 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 do. Barber to get my hairstyle. Really, it's just like long on the top, short on the sides. It's pretty basic. It just like looks different depending on like what your hair looks like. So pretty hashtag basic there. Closure, JavaScript, please break it down. Mubarak, do you want me to explain JavaScript closures? Or do you want me to explain the Google closure library that's now deprecated? It's a JavaScript framework. Or do you want me to explain closure with a J, which is a Lisp like programming language that's built on the JVM? You probably mean closures in JavaScript, which basically just means you can encapsulate stuff in function scope so that it doesn't bleed into the global scope in JavaScript. But that's probably boring to everybody. Do I have any musical bits in the works? Daniel asks. I'd love to collab sometime. You know, it's funny. I like, for context, I really like to sing and I like to rap and freestyle and stuff. And I don't have a lot of time to do music stuff myself. So when I end up doing it, it'll be at work. We have like, I work at Patreon and we have a lot of people who jam, who are incredible musicians, and we jam on Fridays, and I'll try to like do, you know, contribute my rap until retire. But my friend Jordan, who has been producing beats, and like he's sent me a couple, and I've like written some raps and some verses and stuff, some bars on there. So I don't know, Wally, like hit me up. Maybe I'd be down. I don't have anything in the works myself though, because I'm just like a little too busy with everything that's going on right now. But yeah. Where's the shelf from? I'm here for the furniture. What's up, Katie? I'm coming to see you guys in 2 weeks, and I'm so excited. So the shelf is from allmodern.com. It's like an outlet for, it's IKEA-like. I think it's cheaper than, it's like reasonably priced, you know, for young adults or for, you know, middling adults. I'm 25 now. I don't know if I count as a young adult. But yeah, it's a floating shelf. I'll send you the link later. Favorite color, probably pink is really growing on me. I feel like 2018 is like the year of me and millennial pink. Prior to that is after that. These JavaScript closures, yeah. So basically what I said about JavaScript closures, and yeah, I'm probably not the best person to explain that off the cuff. So my glasses they're Ray-Bans, I think. Yeah, they're Ray-Bans. But they're like specced out with you know, blue blocker light, or like blue blocking stuff, so that blue light doesn't come through the glasses as much, so I can like look at screens for longer, because I have eye strain issues. I actually have 20/20 vision, but I have I get strain when I stare at screens for a long time. So because I'm in the line of work that I am, I try to wear my glasses whenever I'm using my phone or computer for an extended period of time. Did you always want to be, oh no, I lost track. Okay. Did you always want to be a software engineer, or were there other interests, or did you first not know what you want to do? I didn't always want to be a software engineer. I think that's kind of what inspired my my video about like, what are you doing with your life? Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist. I used to draw every day, and I used to write scripts that were like Dragon Ball Z fanfics with my friends. And we would go outside and like act them out. And then I've always kind of been into doing things creatively. Like I used to do Photoshop form signature contests with Russell back in the day when we used to play RuneScape. And I always thought, and then I got really into Adobe Flash back in the day, like making Flash videos. And at that point, I really thought I wanted to do something artistic. But in that same, I was actually in this technology program in middle school. So I got to learn like and Flash, Macromedia. It was Macromedia Flash at the time. And that was where I was first introduced to web development. But I didn't really know what it was. Sorry, my street is very loud. I don't know if y'all can hear that. A bus just drove by. So I didn't learn to program in that class, but I was exposed to like the web. And I think I just liked being on computers and like making things with computers, and software engineering is like one outlet for that, but so is making videos and, you know, comedy sketches and stuff. So I really just like making things and being able to express like an idea that I have in my head into the real world. Fun fact about that though, when I was in middle school in Adobe Flash, there's like a programming language called ActionScript, which is a dialect of ECMAScript, which is like what JavaScript is essentially. And there was a guy in our class who knew all the ActionScript. So I outsourced all of it to him. If I needed like dynamic behavior in my like little Flash games and stuff, I would ask him about it. And I caught up with him recently over LinkedIn, and I found out he's like studying zoology. So he didn't even go into the thing that he was like super good at in middle school either. So, you know, you never know. Have you played an instrument before or wanted to? Yes, I used to play clarinet in middle school, and then I stopped playing in high school. But I always wanted to play something. I think if I were to learn an instrument now, it would probably be piano, just because I think it's very versatile. And I'm left-handed and cannot for the life of me like figure out guitar. Because I played a lot of Guitar Hero and I like did it on the lefty flip. So now my brain is like wired in this reverse way. And I feel like I'd be shooting myself in the foot if I learned to, I learned with a left-handed guitar. Did I make my bed? No. Who's my favorite Canadian? It's got to be you, Jim, definitely. Coder's block, how do you deal with it? So I imagine this is like the equivalent of writer's block for writing code. I don't usually sit down to write. I think there's this misconception about writing code where you just like look at a blank screen and then you just like type everything that comes to mind. And that's not really, that can work for like fairly simple problems. So for larger problems, you actually have to spend a lot of time not coding and thinking about how you're going to represent the problem in code. You have to first, if you're writing code, that means you've already solved the problem, and doing both at the same time is actually very difficult. So I don't experience coder's block very much because by the time I'm writing code, I have already figured out how I'm solving the problem. That's not always true. Like with architecture things, I can marinate on problems for a long time, but you get diminishing returns, and you can always re-architect. And I think that having those like escape hatches has helped me keep moving forward. And I have the same philosophy with like videos and stuff. Very 80-20 approach. Hank Green has a great video on this, by the way. How exactly can I get an internship as a software engineer if they want loads and loads of experience? There aren't really tech companies in New Orleans. Well, I don't have particular advice for New Orleans because I don't know the tech scene there, but you want to apply a lot of places and try to reach out in your network to see if people are like looking for some sort of work. My first internship actually was working as an Android developer my freshman year of college after me and Russell, who's still in the chat, I hope, made a Android app and put it on the App Store. Neither of us knew. I knew Java because I was like TAing for, I knew Java because I was TAing for a Java course at that point. But I didn't know Android development, and I was in a student organization where one of the members had graduated and started working at this company and was looking for an Android developer internship. Just like it was like a $14 an hour gig that I did in the mornings before class. And it helped a lot. It helped get something on my resume. It didn't have like this crazy technical interview process. And that connection, that person that got me that internship way back then, like just moved out here and started working at Facebook. So it's wild that like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, we were able to connect and work together, and we're only now like reuniting in the same physical place right now. Would you pick the job with the cooler engineering office or the job in the cooler city? Ooh, I don't I don't buy too much into engineering office coolness, to be completely honest. I think that the city is probably more important. Engineering offices being cool is great, but you get used to it, and a lot of the times the bells and whistles around engineering offices are meant to keep employees there longer, and like I think everything has like a hidden cost, but the city there is like where you're living and where you're you know, that's the overarching ecosystem that you're in. So I think that I would optimize for that. But there's so many things that go into this. So try to like make a pro con list, write everything out, try enumerate all of the reasons for making the decision that you're making. Let's see. After Google EP, I lost my place. After Google EP, why didn't you go back as a SWE intern and go to Yelp instead? After the engineering practicum at Google, so for context, in reference probably to my last video, I got a return offer to go back to Google for a software engineering internship, but I didn't want to get all of my experience in the same place, and I wanted to experience different companies of varying sizes. There's a lot of great things about large companies, and there's a lot of great things about small companies. At large companies, you have a lot of structure, and you have the ability to go really deep on things. And at small companies, you can be a jack of all trades and learn a lot of varying skills. And you also can learn a lot more transferable skills. At Google, a lot of the Google infrastructure is Google proprietary. So there you kind of have to make a logical leap in order to map that to real world technologies. Whereas like a much smaller company, you might be using like everyday technology that you like read about on the internet. And I think that, and then when you're getting new jobs, like having that stuff under your belt, having that experience under your belt is valuable. So I just wanted to try it out. And then I really liked the people that I was working with at Yelp and decided to come back because ultimately I think that you can grow, you're going to grow so much when you graduate college. And I wasn't trying to min-max on like specifically the nitty-gritty of the job, like the specific pay amount, like how much my stock options were, just because the most unknown thing is like who you're going to be working with. And I found it really valuable to already have confidence in that and be able to like build those relationships and know that those people are going to like have my back. Ooh, Zan, hey. Wow, it's so cool that you're here. Which do you enjoy most? Computer engineering or computer, like basically like software engineering, probably theater or podcast? I like, I was for a while I was doing all software all the time. Like when I came out of college, I was like doing all these software side projects and all of this software work. And it left me like missing something. And then I started picking up improv, and then I've recently gotten into like the podcast and making videos. And I like the balance I have right now. I'm able to like sort of separate like work and life, but still feel like I'm able to grow within my career and have opportunities there. But I'm sort of growing on all these fronts, and they all bring me so much joy because they sort of satisfy different parts of my brain and yeah, different things that I'm looking for. But honestly, like I kind of just my 2018 is all about doing all of the stuff that I'm doing now for a whole year, and trying to just be consistent and build the habits in, because I care a lot about I care a lot about the stuff I'm doing now. Top 3 rappers I'm listening to right now. You know, I really like Brockhampton. I don't know if y'all haven't heard about Brockhampton. Like, it's amazing. It's this like hip hop collective in LA. It's like they're a bunch of kids, but they're like super prolific and super visionary. And it basically sounds like the future of hip hop when I'm listening to them. I'm always a big fan of. I always have like a lot of mainstays. Like I'm a big fan of J. Cole. I just like identify a lot with his story. Similarly to Logic, I was just listening to Logic's old mixtapes. I'm less a fan of his like newer stuff. But I just really like how he's able to sort of have a positive message while also like just like all the music's there, the lyrics are there for the most part. I'm looking at my thing right now. Childish Gambino, like he hasn't been rapping lately, but I bump his stuff. I feel like I need to listen to more new stuff. Brockhampton's like pretty new. Um, and yeah, I don't have a great answer. I've been trying to listen to all the new stuff that comes out, but nothing has really like super grabbed me. Except I'm obsessed with Rihanna's verse on Lemon. So if you want to hear a great song, listen to Lemon by NERD. It's awesome. Oh yeah, Joe or Joe. Yeah, smash that like button. I don't know. Why not? I like sharks. I don't not like sharks. Oh, hey, I'm left-handed. Yeah, left-hand bros. Guitar left-handed. Wow, yeah. How late am I? You're not late. We're just getting started. Where do I see myself in a year? I see myself. Favorite painting. I really like The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. I also like. I saw a bunch of cool art when I was studying abroad in Barcelona, but I'm not like a big traditional art guy, and that's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to level up on. Where do I see myself in a year? I see myself not in the same place, but I think that I have a problem with grit. I really don't commit to things very often, or have not historically. I usually get a new hobby, and then once I've sort of wringed it dry of all of the things I find interesting about it, I move on. But something has felt very different about the podcast and YouTube, just because like Russell will tell you, like these are things that we were doing like 10 years ago, and kind of just stopped. And like something feels important to me, or it feels special to me that I've come back to it and it like fit like a glove. And so I honestly, like I have like a sort of plan for my 2018, and it's like at least 20 videos, at least probably 40 videos, I think. Yeah, 40 videos in 2018, and like no, not 40, sorry, like 30-ish videos, and then 45 podcasts. That's the plan. So hopefully I'm deep in there, and I think in terms of work and career and stuff, I'm chugging along, like looking into new opportunities and looking for new opportunities for growth, basically. Let me scroll to the bottom real quick and then scroll back up. Oh, hey, Mayuko's here. Listen to Mayuko. Smash that subscribe button. If you haven't heard of Mayuko, there's no chance that you haven't heard of Mayuko, but she's amazing, and we work together. And she's got a cameo role in my next video, which is I'm super excited to show you all the next video. It's gonna be a good time. I'm planning to move to New York from LA to get a fresh start of things. Would you consider running away from my problems by wanting a fresh start? Oh, running away from problems. Eric, I don't think so. I honestly don't. I think fresh starts can be so powerful, and it's kind of like turning a new chapter in your life. I don't know. I think moving to San Francisco for me was a fresh start. Starting at Patreon was a fresh start, and both of those things were like really hard to do, especially like leaving my job at Yelp. But I'm a big fan of the fresh start. You never look back and go, this was bad. You go, I have more information. I've learned something from this. How did you get an internship as an Android developer? I mean, Russell's a professional Android developer, best Android developer I know, and is killing it right now. But from my conversations with him, it seems like, and from conversations from Android developers at work, it seems very hard to recruit Android developers. So if you've got the skills, then I just put yourself out there. Like there's like a million job postings for stuff like that. For internships, it's obviously a little tougher. I kind of lucked out there, but yeah, making stuff. Azar, yeah, it's wild. It's wild that we're reunited. It's been so good to keep it like, it's like reconnect with you and like meet up with you and stuff. This is why like I think building relationships is so important in your life. And like I feel like try to burn people, like just treat everybody like a human being. And no one life isn't a zero-sum game. We can all help each other, like bring each other up. I live in Georgia. I don't have money to pay for out-of-state tuition. If I don't get into G2, will I be screwed for life if I go somewhere that has an inferior program? Not at all. I have a bunch of like my Georgia folks probably in the chat, but I think that one, there are a lot of good programs regardless of where in state you go. Like if you were to go to UGA, if you were to go to Georgia State, like honestly, a lot of the best information is available online, and you can, and well, let me back up and say that like there aren't very many secrets that are only available in these schools, in the like more elite schools. So it really is just a matter of doing the work, and I think that at a smaller program, you actually have more exposure to your professors, and you can probably get more direct attention. You can build better relationships with them, and like honestly, like there's pros and cons to everything, but you're definitely not screwed for life. In fact, like I would see it as like a big opportunity. But Georgia Tech is great also. Like Georgia Tech is not without its flaws, but I would not be the person I am today if I didn't go there. Thoughts on getting a master's degree in CS? Do you think it's worth it? It really, really depends on what you're trying to do with that master's degree. For a lot of software engineering jobs, you don't necessarily need a master's, but for more specified jobs, like if you want to work in like machine learning, usually you need like a master's or a higher degree. If you want to work in research, you're going to need like even a PhD a lot of the time, and it's like super hyper competitive. So I think try to extrapolate like what kind of stuff you find interesting about computer science, and then go from there. It's also not a decision that you have to make immediately. You can kind of like go into industry, decide to go back. It happens all the time. Spaces or tabs? Spaces all the way. Can I talk about my experience at Yelp? Yeah, I'll do that. Good morning, Mayako. Okay, cool. I'm going to scroll back up and start answering questions. Hey, if y'all are like having a good time over here, then you should totally like tell your friends or something. Maybe I should I'm like, should I tell more people that we're live? Should I like Instagram this right now? I don't did any of y'all see my excessive like advertisements about this live stream on Twitter and Instagram? Hey, look, it's a live stream. It's me and it's a bunch of friends. It's a live stream. All right. Okay. Successfully promoted. Can I talk about my experience at Yelp? Yeah, maybe I should like take a quick break and just say thanks so much, everybody, for being here. It means a lot to me that 53 are right now. I just feel so lucky and am so grateful that like to be able to do this. And it's so cool. And I hope that never gets old to say. So yeah, everybody, Twitter me, IG me. I'm Jarvis on Twitter. Just I have my first name, and then on Instagram, I'm Magic Jarvis. There's a story there. I'll tell you later. Cool. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about my experience at Yelp. I did an internship. Had a really awesome mentor who taught me a lot and really taught me how to be a good software. Like, just taught me how to communicate. He just taught me that it's okay to not know the answers, and that you can be a well-respected software engineer without compromising like the way that you communicate, and like without like while still being vulnerable and still being like wicked smart. But yeah, had a really awesome manager, had a really awesome mentor. Really wanted to go back. Met some awesome friends who I like am now lucky enough to work again with at Patreon. And a car alarm is going off outdoors. I hope that doesn't annoy y'all. And then yeah, I joined Yelp right out of college. After my internship, I accepted my return offer, and then I had about a year before coming back to San Francisco. So I studied abroad, and while working part-time. I took off a semester while I was working part-time for Yelp, and kind of just chilling out. And then I studied abroad, was working part-time. Excuse me. Then September of 2014 came came out to SF, worked at Yelp for about 2 years, primarily on back-end stuff, service-oriented, or I was basically working on some services, in like a service-oriented architecture, doing Python stuff. And it was really cool. I think it gave me a really good idea of like what works in a effective like software engineering organization. And all the lessons that I learned from Yelp, I've been able to take with me to my next job, and they've helped me contribute to a new place, which is super cool. Who are my heroes? I think I've had a lot of people in my life who have sacrificed for me, have like made sort of their lives, like compromise the sort of opportunities and things that they wanted to do with their lives to raise me and help me be able to now like choose that I want to do whatever I want. And so my heroes are really like those people. And also like, I really credit the Vlogbrothers to a lot of my development in terms of like thinking about the world, and just learning that adulthood can be really goofy. I was lucky enough to tell John Green that in person at VidCon, and it was like a super surreal experience. So like Hank and John are definitely big heroes of mine. I think I look up to a lot of artists, but I also try to remind myself of like the what celebrity does to people in our heads, and it's worth noting that at the end of the day, these are all just people trying to do their best, and that's kind of like what this channel is about. It's like no matter the accolades, no matter like what you've done, what you will do, it's just one person with the same 24 hours a day that you have, who doesn't know the answers to life's big questions, and they're trying their best. So I have less heroes and more people who've done things that were very meaningful to me. And I guess that's how I would answer that question, or how I would think about that. Does Patreon sponsor visas? Yes. Patreon.com/careers, everybody. When will we be able to support one of my projects on Patreon? Say Sad Boys. Oh yeah. So if y'all don't know, I have a podcast called Sad Boys with my friend Jordan. You can check it out on iTunes or anywhere you get podcasts. Sad Boys with a Z. As for when we'll be on Patreon for anything, still holding out a little bit. If we do that, want to do it right, want to go into it with good reasons and in a manageable way. I think it's something that we're thinking about for sure, especially working at Patreon. I'm glad to hear that you like the Python textbook, Chillith Wind. Dream guest on the pod, it's got to be like Lin-Manuel Miranda, or like Justin Timberlake. Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think. Or having Hank or John Green on there would be pretty wild. Like that would be so cool. So cool. I'm worried. I maybe by putting it out into the world, it'll help it happen. Another dream guest would be Nathan Zed. I just want to be friends with him. So if y'all know him, hook us up. We've met a few times, but I'm very awkward in person. So I'm a Japanese international freshman majoring in CS in the US. Can I get an internship at Google even though I'm not American? Absolutely. You absolutely can. That's the end of that thing. Do it. You got this. Oh yeah, Mayuka's got an acting role in this next video, and it's gonna be great. Katie asks, what city would you live in after SF? Honestly, it's gonna be either New York or LA, New York City or LA, and I have no idea. And I don't know when that's gonna happen. It could be, 10 years from now. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 3 years from now. It's definitely not 1 year from now. And I have no idea. But those places seem really cool, and I want to visit them lots. Let's see here. Oh, what would you tell? Okay, so this is from Jordan, who, no relation. I don't know this guy. What would you tell somebody, perhaps even a friend or co-host, who wants to develop stuff on YouTube but isn't sure how to eke out the time? Well, I am currently experiencing this. So I've been talking with a lot of friends, colleagues, other people doing YouTube about time management, how to carve out time for things. How I'm thinking about it is I think I want to be putting out content on a regular schedule. Well, I think you know the answer to this, Jordan, which is like just scheduling the time and committing to it and like putting it in, even if it's an hour a time. Hank Green has this great tweet thread about how he wrote his book. It's like, Hank, how did you write a book? You have no time. And it's like he just, over the course of years, was able to put it together piece by piece by piece by piece. And it looks like it was effortless, but it really just took a lot of like making the time for it. And the only thing that created it was time. That's kind of his like sort of route, like his point about this. And so if you want to write a video, just put, I don't know, if you put 15 minutes a day into it, that's like everybody has that time. Then eventually it will be done. But if you put 0 into it, it'll never be done. So somewhere between 0 and infinity time. But yeah, just trying to be trying to stick to a schedule. I know for me, I really need the schedule in order to get the things done that I need to get done, and I have to sacrifice things. Like I've had to like go. I've been like out with friends, and then been like, oh, I have to leave early to go do this stuff because I care about it deeply, but I also care about these people deeply, and it's a hard balance to make. But I believe in you, and you know that I will help you with this. Just let's chat about it. Oh, thanks, Eric. I really appreciate that. My best humble brag. I was just humble bragging a lot. Did y'all hear when I was talking about how I met John Green? Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. I met Donald Glover one time. That was cool. Let's see. Thoughts on coding boot camps? They're totally cool, and I've worked with a lot of awesome people who are from them. And if that's like your path, if that's like the path of least resistance for you to get to where you want to be, then I am all for it. I think you should do it. Video. So today I have from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. a combination of practices and rehearsals for improv and sketch shows that I do in San Francisco. So I really don't know that I have time for getting it out tomorrow. I would like to, but it might be Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, P-Way. Elise, thank you. Oh, you guys are so nice. Does Patreon sponsor visas? Yes. Normal workday, like for me, you shall see in a future video. I know Jordan likes Overwatch. How does he feel about the SF Pro team? I don't know. Tips for getting software engineering internships with not the greatest grades. Ooh, this is a good one. So grades are tricky because they matter for a little bit, but then when you start getting stuff on your resume, they don't matter anymore. So pad those, like get experience and then put the experience on your resume, because at the end of the day, it's not about what grades you got. It's it's what you can do. Micah and I talked about this a bit in a Q&A that we did, but you don't have to graduate with a good GPA to get a job, to even work at Google or anywhere. They don't have, usually they don't have cutoffs for GPA, for the very reason that you're not a number and it doesn't really speak to your experience. End goal when it comes to career. I think that like in the long game, I will probably end up like starting something like a big project or a company or something. But this is like so far out. I like the idea of it's just like it's sort of taking an idea and bringing it into the world on like a grander scale, and so that's why it's attractive to me. But I don't know that that will always be the case. Um, so we've got about 20 minutes left. Um, feel free to like tell a friend. I'm gonna drink some water, drink some Phil's coffee, both at the same time. Mm. Cool. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody holding up okay? I just wanna see how y'all are doing. Okay. I think there's a lag, so I haven't seen any responses to it, but getting by. It's been awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, cool. Rocking a nasty cold. Get better soon, Jen. In a food coma. Ooh, oh, was it a breakfast burrito, Katie? Um, okay, let's get back at it. So, does Patreon sponsor visas? The answer is yes. Tips for, oh yeah, we already talked about this. Do you think it's easier to get a job as a developer at a large company or like a digital agency? I don't know much about digital agencies, but I think that the criteria, I guess, for getting hired could be a little bit different. I imagine there's a lot of overlap, but I don't know. I can't really say. Russell says I'm a sellout, which is true. How was the dev color event I went to? It was amazing. It's always so cool to see so many Black engineers all in one place. I have I have a little group within dev color that I meet with every month, and we've been together for over a year now, all the same people. So it's good to see them. It's like my little like developer dev color family. And at our retreat, so many people came up to me because I share a lot of my videos with that community. A lot of people came up to me and told me that they were fans of my videos, which was like super wild. Do you need physics to study computer science and software engineering? No. It really depends on where you're going to school. I needed some hard sciences for my degree, and I chose to get them in physics because I thought physics was the most interesting to me. And so I did take physics, but it's not necessary. It doesn't come up a lot. Unless you're like doing games and stuff, at which point you should probably know like the basics. I would also die if Lynn was on Sad Boys. It would be amazing. Yeah, Hank Jungri would be great. Thanks, Lucas Co. Jordan's going to join the SF Overwatch team. Top 5 companies join as a new grad SWE. Honestly, like I think that there's so many, and I can't really rank them. I instead would say, I have had friends, like sort of any big company that you can think of. I've had friends have positive things to say, and have had positive, like sort of career-defining experiences there. So I don't really know if it's valuable to rank. Plus, it's a moving target, right? Like you never know what the experience is going to be like for any given person, and I don't have the data to sort of average it out. But I would advise you, if you're curious, to go on Quora and other things to read people's individual accounts or in Glassdoor to read people's individual accounts of working at these companies. Yeah. Some of those engineers need to hop on YouTube so I can count the. Yeah, I agree. There are very few. I guess like there's very few. Yeah, Black developers on YouTube. I have a question for y'all. How would you feel? So I don't. Here's a confession. I don't want to always make tech content. I think I want to like have it as always be a part of my stuff, but not the whole thing. I like to think of it like the level I'd want to get at is my sort of tech identity is to is to my YouTube channel as John Green's like writing is to his YouTube channel, is to Vlogbrothers. And I really like experimenting with different content. And I wonder if like y'all are okay with that, or if you would like just like leave me behind if every video wasn't like tech related. I'm super curious. Do, 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 do. Can CS opportunities experience in college make up for going to a high school that didn't offer tech opportunities? Absolutely. I didn't have any CS opportunities in my high school. I tried to learn to program in high school, but like didn't really. I took my first CS class in college, and I took CS1, like the very beginning, the basics of Python, intro to programming, and went from there. So you can totally do it. Favorite drink from Phil's? Oh, Andrew, no worries for yelling my name across Phil's in front of everyone. That was so cool. I actually, that was like the first time that someone had recognized me from YouTube. And so it's going down in the memory banks as a positive experience. So don't feel bad. And then favorite drink from Phil's? Big fan of Dancing Water. Love the name, love the drink. Get a little almond milk in there, maybe a splash of honey if you're feeling, wild. Other Andrew H. I want to be a software engineer, but I don't think I can handle a CS major. I think I might do information systems and focus on internships and coding skills. Any advice? I think if you work backwards from like what you want to do, you can look at like degrees that get you there. I know tons of software engineers who didn't do software engineering degrees, but I think ultimately I would try to study something that helps aids the direction I'm going. Like computer science wasn't the perfect one-to-one for like what I want to be doing, but it was a nice sort of thing to set me up to get to where I wanted to go. So I would think of things like that. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that you guys want me to do what makes me happy. I actually am quite happy making tech videos. It's such a big part of my life, but I made a sort of conscious decision not to like brand myself as like a tech channel because my influences were never tech, and I'm just trying to speak to my experience, but definitely will be branching out and experimenting with things. Next country I want to visit. Do I like traveling in a solo versus a group? Next country. Good question. Katie, I don't know. I kind of want to go back to another Spanish-speaking country, and I also want to like spend more time in Europe, English-speaking Europe, because when I was in Barcelona, I like only really spent a few days in each of those, in like London and Dublin and stuff. So I'd like to do a bit of that as well. And then traveling, I've never exactly traveled solo. I think in Japan, my last vacation about 6 months ago was the closest I got to that. Vlogs about this, our Japan vlogs are from this time, but he was working most of the time, so I was able to like go out and venture on my own. And I really liked it. It's kind of like getting your alone time, when you've just like been around people all day. It can get lonely though. And then I have to like try to meet people and meet travelers and stuff, and that's cool, but it's a totally different skill set that I'm still working on. So I do want to travel solo. I may do like a domestic trip solo before I do. I guess that's what I'm doing in 2 weeks, but I want to do like something that's just completely solo where I don't know anybody. Maybe domestically before I do it internationally. Let's see. Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you guys would support me regardless. Is being good at mathematics necessary to becoming a really good web developer? No, not exactly. Not even a little bit. Maiko has a good video about whether or not you need to be good at math or need to be a math expert to do software engineering. The short answer though is no, not at all. Do you think it's possible to get a programming engineering job learning from Udacity or other online learning platforms? Absolutely. I didn't learn any of the stuff, like any of the web development stuff that I do now from school. I actually learned how to learn from school and learned some like very basic concepts and things from school. But I took a Steve Huffman's Udacity class on web development, which is great. I still think it still holds up. It was like my first real true intro to web development. And I joined a web development student organization in college. And so, yeah, I don't think, I think that online learning is like the wave of the future for sure. Thanks a lot. Well, Hawk Vondermark, thanks a lot for the videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks all of you for watching. I really appreciate this. I need a name to call my following. Any thoughts? Oh, I don't know. Let's think about that though. Let's think about that. I do need a name. What tips would you give for new incoming interns? How would an intern get prepared for an internship in tech? This is a really good question, Simpson. I think reading a book on design patterns. I got sent one of those before my internship at Google, and I had taken a class on design patterns, so it helped. So I kind of already knew some of it, but that is helpful. But honestly, they don't really expect you to prepare. They kind of expect you to be absorbing a lot in the beginning, and you don't have to immediately produce stuff. Like interns are graded on a curve. You're not like expected to be in a full functioning software engineer right out of the box. I should come to Manchester. I agree. Yo, Watley, I think I'm gonna buy Dragon Ball FighterZ soon. I think I'm gonna buy it soon. Let's see. No, Russell, I've heard it's very legit. I feel a little I feel a little bit weird putting my name in the name of the crew, but it's y'all's, it's your decision. I guess like what are other people's like fandoms called? I guess there's Nerd Fighters. We could be like if the channel's called like Jarvis is trying his best, then you can be the besties. So we're running low on questions. It looks like we've still got some time left. Tryhards. I honestly like that's kind of amazing. I'm gonna look and see what's up on Twitter. Someone just I guess I can plug the fact that please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. I'm gonna make it so this is available on the channel sort of for all time. Follow me on Twitter at Jarvis. I respond to a lot on Instagram at Magic Jarvis, obviously here on YouTube. Thoughts on, okay, wait, I want to apply to internships here in Atlanta, but I don't think I'm good enough at data structures, even though I've taken that class. Any tips to get good in 2 months? Kirk Fortune, definitely just read Cracking the Coding interview. That helps prepare a lot and gives you sort of a mental model of the questions to expect. And then feel free to go to like office hours for the data structures class and ask questions, even if you're not currently in the class. I was a TA for data structures for a few years at Georgia Tech, and I just loved teaching that material because I knew that it would help. If people got it, it would really help them get jobs. Lol. Not a fan of besties. Okay, I'll let you all decide. Thoughts on Gematech? Gema's cool. He is friends of friends with one of my coworkers, and then like has collabed with Mayako a few times. I'm watching. He's got some cool videos. I really like his startup series. But yeah, yeah, cool guy. Does anybody listen to Sad Boys? I have a question for that as well. And if you don't, please remember Sad Boys with a Z everywhere. It's a podcast, comedy podcast about feelings. Christian says, What do you think is the best and worst thing about being a minority in software development? Good question. I think I think the best thing is like I mean, you just have a very unique perspective to bring to the table. Um, and uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a part of like my person. So I think that the best thing is that it's part of what makes me me. But and the fact that I can reach out directly to people with similar backgrounds to me uh, and connect with them and sort of put my 2 cents in terms of representation and saying, hey, you know, this is me. I'm an engineer and I look like this. And I think the worst thing is I wrote down something from like a dev color event yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Which is, let's see. Oh yeah. So I think I think this is truly the worst thing is like when in tech, they're always talking about like people are always talking about how like minorities or you know underrepresented groups are not there. Like they always talk about this shortage or like how these people don't exist, and it's like no, I exist. I'm right here, and I just don't think that we're doing a good job of catering to those audiences because it's just a completely different language that you have to speak because there's already so much going in a different direction. Like if you're you know if you're like white and go to an Ivy League school, then you're like, of course I can do this thing because other people like me have done this. But there are far fewer examples to look at as an underrepresented group in tech, and so I think sometimes losing sight of yourself when people are like the common dialogue is that you don't exist. Let's see. Yeah, the Sad Boys episode. We've got 2 Sad Boys episodes of Mayuko. And I'm just saying, it's not available on Spotify because Spotify is very picky about which podcasts they let on. Honestly, Sad Boys is what I listen to at the end of the day when I want to de-stress and laugh, but I always end up feeling inspired as well, so I guess it works out. That's exactly what we're trying to do. That's so cool. How much time is sufficient for preparing for interviews at companies like Google? A lot, to be completely honest. You can never prepare enough, but I think that how you're going to know that you're prepared is by doing mock interviews with friends. Like, hey, Russell, give me a question out of this book, or go find a question because you know how these interviews work. And then let's do a 45-minute whiteboard coding interview with just you and me, where you give me feedback at the end about how I did. That is so painfully awkward, but it is so helpful. It is the closest thing you can get to the actual experience. And I know for software, like technical interviews, hundreds probably at this point, like that, like just being on the other side of the table, like that is going to help you. Like you're just going to learn the language of the technical interview, which is unfortunately different than like your everyday job, which is part of the problem. Okay, y'all, I think we have like, is my stream going to end in a minute? Okay, so let me see. Okay. So I'm gonna wind down. I'm gonna answer the last questions, and I'm gonna wind down. So, let's see what we got here. Sad Boys isn't available on Spotify. Oh yeah, I'm a chime, especially Black person marketing. We're in a room full of white people making decisions about what they think Black people might do without asking them. Yeah, I completely agree. Just like Amazon has changed the retail industry and Uber changed the tax industry, what is the next industry to be disrupted? I think shipping probably with like self-driving cars is a pretty big one. Potential effects of blockchain on the future, having like a history of everything having like basically blockchain baked into a bunch of things, like everything being a transaction that you can look at like a ledger. That would be cool. I like the idea. I like where Ethereum is going in terms of platform. Yes, Christian. Yeah, you got this. Feel free to reach out if you ever need any help. Current book I'm reading. I have this book by Johnny Sun, which is kind of like a coffee table book, but it's kind of just an inspiring uh, book of like little comics and like messages and things. And then other books on your must read for 2018. I'm so bad because I read a lot of self-help and I want to read more fiction just to like escape more. And so I've just been reading like Getting Things Done. Getting Things Done by David Allen. Like this is like a really cool like productivity book. And I'm gonna start reading a bunch of management books, like Andy Grove, High Output Management. He was like the old like head of Intel. So that's a thing. And then books that made a huge impact on my life. I mean, Harry Potter is a cliche answer. Ender's Game until I realized like Orson Scott Card was like a bad dude. And yeah, this is a good question, Katie. We're going to talk about this later. How can you progress as a software engineer? What's your 5-year plan? It mostly involves, since we're running out of time, it mostly involves like working on projects, taking on more responsibility, learning how to enable other teammates, learning how to be more visionary, and then ultimately garnering more and more responsibility over time. Jaquino 94, the sooner you apply, the sooner you find out if you're truly not ready. You are probably ready for some internship somewhere. And usually you can apply in 6 months if you fail an interview. So just like go ahead and do it. There's no reason not to. How tall am I? I'm 6'1". SSN, that's my Super Saiyan name, Super Saiyan Jarvis. How do I get over the feeling of being unprepared or not being ready? You kind of just, I mean, ask a friend, ask a peer, but you might be ready, and it might just be like, try to find out if it's yourself that's holding you back. How do I manage to read so many books and be so productive? Lots of coping strategies. And I also started taking medications. I drink a lot of coffee though. It's a struggle. It's basically, I've learned a lot about my brain, and I've learned a lot about how I can get myself to do things that I don't want to do. And I've only recently started trying medication for that. So I'll probably make a video on ADHD pretty soon. I don't find software engineering stressful or repetitive because, well, I mean, it can be both of those things, but I ultimately like think about the problems that we're solving broadly, and like they're all of their nuance, and I think of like just big, sort of the bigger building blocks rather than like the concept of typing code into a whiteboard or typing code into an editor. Okay, this is a good question to end on. Adrian's, how do you balance optimizing life productivity with having fun and enjoying life? I'm still learning how to do this, but I think you have to like look at the relationships that you have in your life and what they need, because all relationships need something to, continue to grow, and you don't want to neglect those relationships. And it's a constraint satisfaction problem. Like, can I? And it's having boundaries. It's making sure that you're there for the people that in your life when they need you and you need them, and you're making space for that. But you're also making space for like whatever you want to do, productively speaking. But I think the relationships part is most important. So if anything, like it's always okay to sacrifice productivity for relationships that matter to you. Okay, we're done. We did it. We did a live stream. We did a whole live stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I'm going to have a new video for you soon. Very excited. And if you want to continue chatting with me on Twitter at Jarvis, Instagram, Magic Jarvis, And yeah, wow, we did one of these. Maybe we'll do another one sooner than 10 years. Favorite song from Hamilton, My Shot. But let's talk about Hamilton sometime. So good. Okay. Y'all are the best. And now I'm going to figure out how to end this thing. Oh, here we go. Stopping the broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.